This is Dan Ferraro. It's a new day in Utopia, and you're listening to Bring Me Your Torch with Patriot Jesse, polyamorous Elaine, and not Beekeeper Jake.
Welcome to another episode of Bring Me Your Torch. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Elaine.
And we're really excited to talk to our good friend Kailah from Real World Go Big or Go Home. But before we do that, we want to remind you to go to our website at www.bringmeyourtorch.com. But where else can you go?
Facebook.com/bringmeyourtorch or Twitter.com/bringmeyourtorch without the H.
No H?
Now you can find us on iHeartRadio.
You can find us on iTunes if you have an iPhone. You know, Kailah's told us before that she wants you to go and give us 5-star review and just say how wonderful we are. And if you do that, it'll make me feel so good inside. You can also go listen to us on Stitcher if you have a Droid or Blueberry, or YouTube. You can find us, just Google Bring Me Your Torch. We're everywhere. You can't get rid of us, unfortunately. but now we're going to talk to our good friend, Kailah. Thanks for coming back to the podcast. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you guys?
Oh, fantastic.
Good.
We had to start out with this. It's been a crazy season, but some of the craziest stuff has actually happened over the last few weeks on Twitter. Mm-hmm. I've got to ask you, what the hell is going on?
Craziness.
That's a great question, because honestly, I don't know the answer to it. You know, I'm sure they probably have a completely different side than I do, which is understandable. But to me, what it seems like is it all started really, really getting bad right before I deleted my Twitter. And that was the week that Jenna came to visit me in Florida. And that's kind of where it all spiraled out of control. They all kind of, you know, were talking a little bit of crap about me on Twitter here and there, but it wasn't bad. I was able to deal with it. But the day that Jenna got here, it was just total mayhem.
And you guys weren't really huge friends on the show. You were talking some trash to her on there. So did you guys reconcile after everything was over?
Yeah, we did. You know, so Jenna and I had a up and down relationship on the show. A lot of the times I didn't like her, but then a lot of the times I would pull her aside and we would be okay and apologize to each other. It happened numerous times. Like, it was back and forth. I think, honestly, it was the type of thing where I don't agree with a lot of the things that she says and does, obviously. But at the same time, I do feel for her, and I do want the best for her, and her and I living together is never going to be a thing, and we are just not compatible to live together whatsoever. But as a human being, I think that she's a kind-hearted person, and all of the things that she's said are, to me, I don't think she said them out of any type of malicious. It was out of, I hate to say it, but pure ignorance.
Yeah.
And so after the show, her and I still weren't good, and we had a little bit of a Twitter war there, like right after we got done, before either one of us even had any followers, probably. And then we made up, and after that, I was like, you know, I feel like ever since the show, I've done a lot of self-reflection, because you have to think about, like, was I right in saying these things? Was I wrong for attacking her? And after doing a lot of self-reflection, I realized that I don't have to be a follower. And I never thought of myself as one. And you saw it in that episode that you watched like 2 weeks ago when Amanda came to visit. I hate that.
Oh, yeah.
I hate when people are followers. It is so annoying to me. But I have to say,
Carney crap.
Oh my God, I hated it. But I have to say that looking back, I was wrong. I think I went about the whole Jenna situation in a completely wrong way, because I was following the crowd. I was a sheep just like the rest of them. And when I finally realized that, I was like, wow, what was I doing? Like, this girl, yeah, she's not the smartest, and she says really dumb stuff, and I don't agree with all of her beliefs, but at the same time, I don't believe that attacking her is going to fix anything. And it's not going to make me a better person. It's not going to make her a better person. And I think that on the show, that was one of my biggest regrets, was treating her the way that I did. So I wanted to right that wrong, and that's why she came to visit me here. She's trying to start over, and I felt like Jenna doesn't really have a family or anyone to support her. So I figured if she needed a helping hand, I'd be here for her to come and hang out in West Palm and kind of get away from her hometown and hopefully start a new beginning. And
Ooh,
I didn't
is
think
she
that was
moving to
very
Florida?
wrong. She's thinking about it. Yeah, we went and looked at places while she was here. We're still trying to figure it out for her. I think it would be awesome for her to move out of her hometown and kind of experience more to life than her small town in South Carolina. But back to the question, I mean, like, her coming here, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And apparently to the roommates it was. And that's kind of where all the Twitter war stemmed from, I think.
I went on Twitter one night and I saw something posted by CJ, and I went to her page and I was trying to follow what the heck was going on, and there was just a flurry of tweets. I figured out they're directed kind of at you. I think this was around the time you were getting ready to get off Twitter, and I was just like, what the heck's going on? Like this, it seemed to come out of nowhere, at least as just the people like us, watching you guys on TV and following you on Twitter.
Yeah. It kind of came out of nowhere for me also, because the entire time that I was on the show, I always really liked CJ. And I said that. You saw it in a lot of my confessionals and interviews and stuff, me talking about, like, I really like her. Like, even after she did that weird salsa dance where I ate her salsa and she, like, kind of weirdly flipped out on me and treated me like shit. Like, you see it, like, go over to me and be like, I actually like her. I don't know why she's treating me like this. And I guess after the show, I still thought that we were friends and we were cool, but I was wrong. And it hurt my feelings a lot, and it still does, because I've never done anything wrong to CJ. I've never said a bad word about her. And when it all started when we were at the after show shooting in LA, probably 2 weeks after the show ended, or maybe, no, it was longer than that. It was probably like a month or two after the show ended. We were all in LA. And the first time that I ever heard CJ ever had a problem with me was when I was on stage with Amanda, filming the after show that you guys saw. And apparently CJ was backstage, like, screaming, being like, I'm going to go on stage and beat her ass, like, blah, blah, blah. And then I got off stage and I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea that had happened. And then Jenna got on stage and sat next to me because we were the next set. And Jenna whispered, like, CJ's back there talking about, like, how she wants to beat you up. And I was like, what? Like, why?
That's
like,
so
I've never
weird.
done anything to CJ. It's so weird. So I was, like, upset. I went backstage, or I went, like, to the back. I talked to one of the producers, and I was like, I heard that CJ was back there saying that she wanted to beat me up. Like, should I be scared? Like, what's going on? And the producer was like, I think CJ just, like, has a lot going on. Like, made some excuse for her.
Yeah.
But he didn't deny it. So I know that it happened and that it was true. And Chris also confirmed that too, saying that it happened. And that was the first time that I ever found out that CJ had a problem with me, and I had no idea why.
But then she asked to go out to dinner with you guys.
yeah, like an hour later, me, Sabrina, and she didn't know that Jenna was going. She thought it was just Sabrina and I. She was like, oh, you guys are going to get Thai food, because that was our favorite thing to eat in Vegas, so we were going to do it in LA. She's like, I want to come. And I'm like, feeling really awkward at this point, because I knew what she had just said about me backstage. And I was like, well, Jenna's coming. And she's like, oh, never mind. Like, okay.
That's not fake or anything.
Right, yeah, but I'm the fake one. That insult to
Ugh.
me is like the biggest cop-out of an insult ever. Like, they have nothing to back it up. It's something that they throw out there. And it's like, I don't even care. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't read any of their tweets. I just, whatever. So the whole CJ thing beats me. I don't know. It's a very sheep-like mentality where one person hates one person, so they all have to.
Are you cool with Dean now, though? Because I know Dean was kind of on Jenna's side.
I have no idea. Honestly, like, Dean may or may not like me. I love Dean. I've never had a problem with him. And I would probably say the same thing about CJ. So, like, I don't know. It's a whole groupthink thing where Dion hates me, so then CJ's best friends with him, and she hates me. And it's very much just, I think that they all have their own issues that they need to work out in their life. And, like, for whatever reason, it's getting casted onto me. And I don't know why.
The real those surprised me, but the real shocking one was recently Chris kind of just lost his mind at you. And I thought he was your boy. On the show, you guys were thick as thieves, and he just when he just lost his mind. And if you look at his Twitter, though, he was I thought, pretty volatile just on other people who may have just disagreed with him on little things. And the problem I've had with Chris through the show is I liked him in the beginning, but I think it's a little hypocritical to yell at somebody for being one way, but then treating them horribly back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree, and I told him that. The whole Chris thing, that's a whole other thing. He's also a sheep. So, like, they all hated me. They're all in a group chat together, so, like, a group text message that I'm not a part of. And I know that they all talk about me on a daily basis because that's obviously all that they have to do with their lives, and they have nothing better to talk about. So I know Chris is part of that. And when I started hanging out with Jenna, I think he took it personally, as if I was hanging out with Jenna to spite him. And it wasn't like that at all. Like, Chris is friends with Amanda. I fucking hate Amanda. Like, I don't ever say anything to him about that.
Well, who the hell likes Amanda?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know why they all like her, but I mean, that's a whole nother story.
Train wreck.
Oh my God. I'm so glad that you guys saw that, because, like, I was so scared for that episode to come out, and I didn't know how they were going to portray her. And it was a perfect portrayal of who she is. And I was just like, yes, Kailah for the win on that one. Like, holy shit. But anyway,
yes.
I don't ever, like, talk to Chris about not liking Amanda and him liking her. Like, he hangs out with her all the time and talks to her all the time. I never said a damn word to him about it. But the second Jenna comes to West Palm, it's like he took offense to it. And it's like, it doesn't have to be like that. You don't like her, that's fine. That doesn't mean that I have to feel the same way. You can't own my feelings. You can't own how I feel about somebody. And if I feel that I can forgive her and want to be a nice person to her, then you can't tell me not to. And you can't take offense to it either, because that has nothing to do with Chris's and I's relationship. It's a completely separate relationship.
Yeah,
it's completely separate. And that's fine. He can feel that way. And she can feel that way towards him too. But just because I'm in the middle doesn't mean that I can't be friends with both. And so since he took offense, he started talking crap on Twitter just like everyone else. And then I ended up kind of, like, jabbing back at him a couple of times on Twitter, and he got super upset about it. And I blocked him on everything. I blocked his phone number. I blocked him on Twitter. I blocked him on Instagram. And the only thing left that I forgot to block him on was Facebook. So he wrote me on Facebook and was like, I cannot believe that you would say those things about me. And I'm like, Chris,
what, the truth?
You just literally ripped me a new asshole on Twitter, and then I jabbed back at you, and now you're going to cry about it? Like, how is that even fair?
You can dish it out, but you can't take it.
About?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. I was like, no, it doesn't work like that at all. So, and I told him that, exactly what you said. I said in those Facebook messages that day, I was like, Chris, you have to realize that you are preaching acceptance and tolerance, and you are being the epitome of neither.
Oh my God, yes.
Of neither. He is being so brutally mean. It is disgusting to me. And I get it. He doesn't like Jenna. Cool. Let it go. Get a life. Who gives a crap?
You know what really annoyed me is on the after show, the host was really hesitant to use the word bully when it came to Chris, but you could tell she wanted to go there.
Yeah. Nessa, that was a hard after show for Nessa, because I think that she wanted to veer, like, certain ways, but she couldn't. And at the time, I really didn't see that side of Chris. I kind of, when we were doing the after shows, I still was on Chris's side. I was like, no, he's right. Okay. But when I started to, like, not so much be on Chris's side anymore was when the Twitter stuff started. When it was, like, day after day after day. Like, there was one day where he tweeted at Jenna, I'm not kidding you, like 6 times, being like, Jenna, your fans want to know how you feel about gay sex and AIDS. And she would, like, write back and be like, Chris, I think that everybody should love whoever they want. And then he would write it back and be like, no, don't veer away from this question. How do you feel about gay sex and AIDS? And it's like, just leave the girl alone. Let her live. Like, why? What are you getting out of this? You know what I mean?
It's really difficult because I generally agree with the points that Chris is making, but I
Right.
really disagree with how he's making these
Yeah.
points. So then I'm actually criticizing him, and then it seems like I'm criticizing for a different reason, and it just becomes a giant mess all around.
Yeah, and that's how I am too. It's not fair because if I'm against CJ or Chris, it's like all of a sudden I'm against their values. But I'm not against their values. I get where they're coming from. I just don't like how they're doing it. I don't
Yep.
like the bullying. I don't like the constant twittering, like bashing people and lying at that. Like she just said multiple lies about me that are just blatant. And same with Chris. And it's like, if you guys were to just be humble and say your opinion and just leave it at that and move on, people would respect it a lot more. But because you're going about it in a way that's like so abrasive and bullying and just like attacking people, it's like now I don't even know if I want to even associate with it because I don't like the way that you're talking to me. You know, like, what are you doing? What are
Yeah.
you getting out of this?
Do you think MTV did like a good edit with portraying everybody's personalities and then what you saw on Twitter and their real personalities outside of the real world?
That's a really tough question for me because I lived it. So I was there and in the moment, and when you're in the moment, you don't see all sides of every story. But then when you watch it, it's like, okay, it's different. I do think that they portrayed everyone correctly. And in the moment, I agree with certain people, but now that I watch it back, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have made that move. Maybe I don't really agree with the way things went down because I'm just one person, and with the cameras, there's multiple people, multiple sides to every story that you don't see when you're there. So that's a hard question for me, honestly.
Yeah, it is. And I thought MTV was a little bit inconsistent with their rules because they allowed Chris to actually stay in the house after he violated his contract.
And same with Jenna pushing CJ last week.
Yeah, you know, they play fast and loose with it, I think, 'cause it makes good TV.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, where do you, I mean, I don't want to, you know, I don't want you to bite the hand that feeds you with MTV. But I always think it's interesting that, you know, at what point does a physical altercation do you get rid of somebody? At what point do they break something in the contract to get rid of them? And when do you say, it's okay, we'll let them stay?
Well, yeah, it's all about ratings. I mean, like, they wanted Chris to stay because there would be drama between CJ and Chris, obviously, or Jenna and Chris. And then same with the push that Jenna did last week. Obviously, they're going to let her stay because they knew that they were going to get a bigger fight out of it probably a week later. And they knew that because CJ was just at her wit's end. And I know you guys haven't seen the episode yet, but you will. And they knew what was about to happen.
Yeah, but that episode last week, we see CJ just yelling at Jenna. And that's how they spun it. And I can see not why she would ever put her hands on somebody, but I can see Jenna getting really angry with the fact that CJ would, continuously.
It's alcohol, man. Alcohol
You think so?
has caused. I swear, alcohol is the reason for about 75% of the fights we saw on this show. Can you confirm that?
75, 95. Like, I never fought with anyone sober there. And that night was a night where Jenna and her boy Austin back home were like really bad. So Jenna kind of like drank that away, and she was just. And we went to a country bar, and that's her scene. So she was just excited to go there and sad about her boyfriend. And she was like, I'm just going to get drunk as hell. And she did. And that's what you saw there. But, I mean, like, I don't think that anyone should ever put their hands on anybody. But, and this is not like a but to justify anything, because it's not justified whatsoever. But, I mean, CJ was kind of pushing it the entire season. Like, CJ... He's yelling at Jenna every single day. She woke up every morning with an agenda to find something wrong that Jenna was doing. Like that tipping incident that you guys saw, that was on my birthday. And that was the same day we did the helicopter ride. They didn't sequence it correctly, but it was. And they didn't show CJ at all in that episode really because she didn't say anything all day. She sat and just like fumed all day. She woke up angry, just angry as hell. And it was pissing me off because it was my birthday. And I was like, can everyone just be happy? Like, my birthday, like,
yeah.
Fun.
Happy
and
birthday.
CJ was just in the corner, just like fuming, like not saying anything to anyone. And then I knew from the second she woke up that something big was about to go down that night, that she was going to find something to get pissed at Jenna about. And she did. And it was the tipping thing. Jenna didn't tip the right amount, and she just took that opportunity to just flip out. And
That's
it's
so
like,
contrary to how we saw CJ in the beginning of the season. She was very
because
understanding and patient.
yeah, she grew to be somebody who I didn't think she would become. She very much at the beginning preached against anti-violence, anti-hate, acceptance, and by the end she was none of the three. She very much kind of put out exactly what she preached against. Everything that she told us that she grew up in and that she wanted to be better than, she ended up being. Like,
Yeah,
the epitome.
I can see
of.
that. Yeah, definitely.
And it's sad. And it's like, I thought the day that I met her that she was going to be an upstanding, like, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be better than this community. I want to get out. I want to do this. And I was like, yes, girl, get out of the community. Like, be a better person. Like,
Yeah.
you can do it. I saw her being like working hard and wanting to go to college. And I'm not saying that she doesn't do that still, but at the same time, by the end of it, it's like she was her community. She was putting out hate and violence and unacceptance. And it was completely something that I had not expected at all from her.
Well, if it makes you feel any better with the way they're treating you, I'm pretty sure that after listening to this podcast, they're going to hate us too. So we can join it. But we love them. We criticize because we love.
We're
right?
blacklisted. It's not a racist thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's whatever. Who cares who they hate anymore? They hate everyone.
Yeah.
If you're not part of the cool kids crew, then you suck. And I'm not part of it, and you guys probably aren't either anymore.
I'm not a carny, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
So speaking of how alcohol can really affect things, the day that Dean got divorced, they had a big party for him, and he got pretty sloshed. And we saw him kind of just say "screw it" and go for you, and give you a kiss. And you didn't necessarily seem so into it. So was that just a spur of the moment thing? Were you kind of taken aback by it? Was it weird? Were you cool with it? What's the story behind it that maybe we didn't see?
I don't know. I have to tell you, like, I love Dean. I think that he is a great guy. He's going to make some girls super happy. I think he's awesome. Dean, like you guys kind of saw it all. You didn't really miss anything. You might think that you did, but you didn't. It was kind of like we had this like little flirty thing where sometimes he would like jump into my bed at night and we would like, I think he fell asleep in my bed like 2 or 3 times. We never hooked up, nothing. Or he would just like sometimes get drunk and like, come over to me and be like, Kailah, like, I don't know, just flirt with me and stuff.
Yeah.
And I wasn't against it. I wasn't like, ew, get away from me, because I love the guy. He's cool. I always thought of him as a friend, but I don't think of him as any more than a friend. So when he kissed me that night, I was like, oh shit. I think that actually happened 2 different nights. Because you guys saw that kiss on the balcony, and that didn't happen the same night. So there was a couple different nights when he kissed me, and I was like, oh,
The one in the
this
bathroom?
is like sticky situation. Yeah, the bathroom night and the balcony night were 2 different. They were like a week apart, I think. He would just get drunk and get flirty, and I don't know, I really didn't think anything of it. We always woke up the next morning and it was just back to normal. It was kind of just like a drunken norm, I guess.
It must have been so hard to read the signals because everybody in that house seems to always be naked or in their underwear or in their banana hammock or their thong or whatever.
Love it.
Yeah.
Twerking on the wall, we saw last week.
It was. I mean, like, we just all kind of by the end, you just get so comfortable with them. It's like you don't think of them as people that you live with. They're not roommates anymore. It's almost like not family either, because you're like naked in front of them all the time, but you just become so comfortable that you just don't care. So like by the end, I just, whatever, like they've seen it all. They saw the good, they saw the bad, they saw the clothed, they saw the naked. Like it was just a free for all. So I don't know. Looking back, yeah, it's kind of weird, but it is normal after a while.
We enjoyed it. We loved it. We love watching you and everybody else. But how about Amanda? That visit was so ridiculous.
What did you call her, by the way, Elaine?
Amanda?
Yeah.
Oh,
Was it a
oh,
white
sorry.
trash hillbilly,
Carney,
Carney
fake.
something?
Yeah. Oh man. She
Oh
was
my God,
rough.
whatever you said about her, that last podcast you did was hilarious. Like, I died. um, you saw in that episode that I was trying to be nice. Like, I said from the beginning, like, I don't have a problem with this girl. I'm going to be cool with her. It's whatever. I don't have feelings for Dion. But I didn't even know all that behind the scenes where she was, like, sitting on the couch with Dean trying to talk about how she's going to provoke problems with me and things like that.
Yeah.
I had no idea that any of that was happening because I wasn't there for it, obviously. So that was news to me when I saw that episode. But you saw that I was just kind of trying to avoid the situation. Like, I knew that there was a possibility that she was going to try and freak out on me at some point. And I had many conversations with my parents about this. And my mom was like, do not drink while she's there. Like, be sober. And I was like, okay, you're right. And I was really good about it. I was sober the entire time she was there, except that one night that we fought. And that one night I was drunk because that was actually a mission. They didn't tell you that, but that mission was called Spin, and it was for me. And we hung out with those Australian DJs all night, and it was really kind of a lame mission, and that's why they didn't tell you it was one. But I was like, oh, it's my night. Like, I'm going to drink. I'm going to have a good time, and then I'm going to go home and go to sleep. Like, it's going to be fine. She had already been there for like 2 days. Nothing had happened. So then that's where I went wrong, because those scenes of us fighting, I have no recollection. Like, there's no life in my eyes. Like, so bad.
Yeah, but I don't think you fought her though. You didn't hit her or even.
You smiled at her, which made her even more
Yeah,
mad.
you kind of killed her with kindness.
Which is what I did on the after show too. I kind of took control of that really quickly and just kind of laughed it off, because I think she's absolutely, utterly one of the most ridiculous people I've ever met. Like, not only is she the epitome of a follower, like, she acts exactly like Dion and his friends. Like, you don't have your own personality. Like, are you kidding me? I would never do that. I would never get a boyfriend and then adapt to who they are. That is so strange to me. Like, I have boyfriends.
Yeah, but then he dumped her. Didn't he dump her?
Yeah, that's the best
They
part.
weren't even dating. It's so
Right?
weird.
Yeah, that's the weird part. Like, why would you agree to go see your boyfriend on national TV that you already know hooked up with other girls? First of all, that just makes you look completely
She wanted camera
desperate.
time though.
Oh, and she got it, but I think that she expected it to come off as like, oh, Amanda's like that bad bitch. Like, oh, she's so cool. But she just came off like an idiot. Like, what are you doing?
It was white trash at its finest.
Kailah, I think it's obvious. You just don't get it. It's a Carney thing. So.
Apparently, something I don't get, nor do I want to ever get. Like, the last thing that I ever want to be labeled is a Carney. I think that is disgusting.
What is a Carney? Have we figured it out yet?
I think obviously it's like they call themselves that after like carnival people.
Yeah, they work at a tilt-a-whirl or something?
I think what they try and get at is that they are like nomadic type people who don't conform to any type of like societal. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
They vote
the problem
for
is by
Sanders?
not conforming, you're conforming to something else. Like,
right.
it's funny that all of these Carney people are the same. You know, you're not being an individual. You're just being a different kind of conforming.
The worst kind too, like the annoying, that beep beep thing that they do, and the like, oh my God, you guys don't even understand. They were all there for like 5 days, and I'm not kidding you, a couple times I called the producers and I was like, if you do not tell them to leave the house, I am going to gouge my eyes out, and you guys are going to watch me commit suicide. Like, I'm not kidding you. I hate what is happening right now. And they're just like, Kailah, calm down. And I'm like, no, I didn't come here to hang out with the Carney crew. Came here to be on the real world, and it's turned into something completely different. Like, I don't want to do this. This is not fun for me. It's stupid. And then they ended up not letting them come up in the suite after I did that. So I won.
Good.
Yeah.
Well,
it was crazy.
Speaking of new people coming in the house, the last couple of weeks we've had a new roommate in the house named Dylan. And so, again, I know you can't tell too much because there's still some episodes left. But what's going on? It looks like something might be going down with the two of you. But I don't like that because I feel like you were his second choice. He went after Jenna, and then thought she was nuts. And by the way, he went to Jenna, then went to you, then went back to Jenna. It was very dizzying
I
in
think
how
he went to
that
Kailah
all happened.
first.
Well, what say you?
I don't know. And it looks like from the commercials for next week, it looks like he's coming back for me, which I don't remember it happening like that, but I guess we'll find out. I think what had happened, honestly, I don't know, because they kind of spread out a very small occurrence over more episodes than it should have been. Because, like, him and he came in, I thought that he was cute. I was like, oh, whatever. And honestly, looking back, he's really not that cute. I mean, he's okay, but, like, at that point, it was 6 weeks or 7 weeks in. And I was just like, give me anything aside from these people. Like, I was going crazy. So I was like, yes, someone new, fresh face. Like, this is awesome. And that's kind of, like, why I went for him. And he kind of, like, I think for maybe like 3 days kind of like played between Jenna and I. And then I saw what was going on and I was like, I'm not doing this. This is stupid. Like, he can have Jenna. Whatever. She needed a friend at the time and I knew that. And then, I don't know, it was kind of just like, honestly, I don't remember how it happened because it was just so late in and I felt like I had lost my marbles by then. And like, I don't even know. He kind of like bounced back and forth a little bit, but I think I stopped giving him the time of day pretty early. So I realized that he ended up being, you'll see, he's an interesting character. I don't know how much of it they're going to show,
cool
but
with him now?
I don't know. I think so.
Let's see what Twitter says after this
Is he on the
podcast.
Carney bandwagon? Should we put him in that category?
I didn't think so, but then like I heard that he was talking crap on Twitter about people. So like honestly, like I tell you guys that I don't keep up with these people. I really don't. Like I only hear through the grapevine what they say about me now because I have them all blocked. So like they can talk all the crap that they want, but I don't see it. So like it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And Dylan and I, as far as I know, we're cool, but who knows anymore? I thought I was cool with CJ too, but look where that landed me.
Well, maybe we'll see you guys together in the challenge. That would be really interesting to say the least.
Dylan and I or CJ and I?
Any of these people.
Rivals, exes, you got so many choices.
Am I a candidate for all of them? Because I feel like I am.
I think so. I definitely think so.
You can pair me with anyone in the house and it might work somehow for one of the challenges.
Well, we recently saw that you were featured on Suicide Girls in some pretty spicy photos. Can you tell us a little bit about the site and how you got involved?
Yeah. Suicide Girls, okay. So how it came about was when I was younger, which sounds really weird, but I was watching like HBO or something and I saw a thing about Suicide Girls. I think it was like a little documentary type thing. I was like, these girls are really cool. Like, they're pretty, but they have tattoos and they're different. And that kind of always stuck in my head for some reason. And then I went on The Real World, and while I was there, I always talked about, like, oh, when I get out, I want to do Playboy, or, like, I want to do Maxim, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just got done with the show and I was thinking about it and I'm like, why do I want to do Playboy? I did, like I told you, I did like a lot of self-reflection. And after reflecting, I was like, what would be a lot cooler would be Suicide Girls because their like motto is to redefine beauty and they accept girls of all sizes, all types of different body types, and I just feel like they accept a lot more diversity, and I would rather be a part of that than be a part of the plastic Barbie doll type Playboy type thing. So I applied, and within a couple weeks, I had a set on their site, and that's kind of how it worked out. And yeah,
that's awesome.
I think you deciding not to do Playboy is the number one reason why they stopped having naked women in the magazine. They probably said, we can't get Kailah, it's not worth it.
Not worth it anymore. Sorry. I just think they're cooler. Like they're badass chicks who have tattoos and they're different and they're
alternative,
beautiful,
yeah.
And they're beautiful in their own way. And I love that because who cares about girls who have big boobs and blonde hair? That was
Well,
mean.
I like
care.
them
I care.
too.
That
But
was mean. I didn't mean that.
I like rocker chicks.
yeah.
Yeah,
So has the response been overwhelmingly positive for you?
Yeah, surprisingly. I mean, of course, I think a little bit of the reason also that I wanted to do it was kind of like a big middle finger to everybody who was online being like, oh, you're, a whore or whatever for hooking up with Tion, which I think is bullshit because everyone has sex with people. Like, I'm 23 years old. Give me a break. And I was kind of like, you know what? If people are going to talk about it, like, let me give them something to talk about. Like, I will pose naked for pictures and I do love my body and I don't care what people say. And honestly, I think nudity is not that big of a deal. Like, we can kill people in movies every day and violence is perfectly fine, but if you show your nipple somewhere, it's like,
oh yeah,
God, the biggest deal
I
in
much
the
prefer
world.
the nipple personally.
Right? So, like, I was just kind of like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to own it and I'm going to kind of just put my middle finger up. And I did. And surprisingly, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. And I wasn't sure what to expect because I knew that I would have a lot of positivity from the Suicide Girl fans. But I wasn't sure what the real world fans would think. And they love it.
That's awesome.
Completely accept it. Of course, I'm going to have people that hate me. They hate me regardless. But for the most part, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. So
that's
I'm happy
awesome.
about it. Pretty cool. Yeah,
but Chris is still hating on you, right?
Oh, of
it's funny
course.
you say that, Elaine. That so I was on Chris's Twitter page, and he's been posting a lot of kind of, I would say, risque photos of himself.
Yeah.
Really?
And I was going to joke about it. I said, you know what though? If it's cool for the girls to do it, it's cool for the guys to do it. Who am I to judge one or the other?
No, yeah, more power to him. He was actually very much an advocate of me doing things like this after the show. He's like, you're a beautiful girl and you're okay with your body, like, do it. What do you care? Like, if it's going to gain any sort of publicity or attention, then it's probably going to be a good thing for you, so do it. I don't know what he's saying about me now. He could be talking crap about it, who knows? But at the time when we were getting along, he was absolutely advocating for me to do it, and that's why he's doing the same thing. And I'm proud of him. Like, if that's going to get him to, if this is a means to an end for him, modeling and doing risque pictures just like I am, then good for him. Like, I wish all of my roommates the best of luck with whatever they do, regardless of how they feel about me. I hope CJ becomes a lawyer. I don't know if that's ever going to be possible now, but I hope she does. And I hope Jenna ends up figuring out her life and hope that they're all very successful people, because I don't gain anything from them losing.
Next time I get annoyed at one of Chris's Twitter rants, I'll just remember that anybody who encourages cute women to get naked can't be all that bad.
Right.
And reevaluate things.
Exactly.
But switching back to the real world house, this has been bugging me the entire season. I'm sure I'm not alone. What is the deal with those hoverboard things? I'm assuming none of them blew up and hurt anybody, but you guys were on them nonstop. What was there some kind of sponsorship deal going on, or were they just in the house?
I would assume that they probably got sponsored somehow. I don't know anything about it though. That was probably like a production thing. But the hoverboards, honestly, you just get so bored. Like, you guys saw it in that shit they should have shown episode the other day. We just got really incredibly bored, and those hoverboards, for whatever reason, just passed a lot of time. Like, you're bored, jump on a hoverboard and go as fast as you can around the house 10 times and like entertains you for a minute. I don't know, they were just fun to play on and hang out. We did like a lot of races on them when we were bored and just hovered around. I don't know.
But what about the casinos though? Wouldn't people get bored and just go down and blow a lot of money?
Not if you didn't have any money.
We didn't have any. Yeah, we were broke. You saw Dion panhandling. Like, we didn't have any money, and like, even to drink downstairs or go get a bottle, I mean, it costs money. So we would do things the cheapest way possible. That's why we made like Hunch Punch and things like that. Like, we would all split bottles and make juice, and like, that's how we did it. We were just so poor. But we did a lot of things within the house to just pass time out of boredom. We like set up water bottles and rolled onions down the hallway to play bowling. Like, there was nothing else to do.
Oh my gosh.
You had that little dildo game we saw on the thing they couldn't show on TV last week too.
The Dick Olympics or the Olympics or whatever it was. Yeah. That night was by far one of my favorite nights in the house. It was, you don't even understand how funny it was. We were like crying and peeing our pants all at the same time. Everybody just like dying because it was so funny. And we got that the dildo from like a gay, we got it from a gay bar. Some random dude gave it to me. What am I gonna
He's looking out for you.
I was like, what am I going to do with this?
Oh, we know.
I brought it to the roommates and we started playing with it and then turned it into a soccer ball. We did, Dion put it on a stool and then hit it with a pool stick to play like baseball with it. But he was drunk, so he missed the dildo and hit the stool instead and broke the pool stick. Oh. So then we were all dying. It was so funny. And then the next morning we got an email from the producers that was like, last night somebody broke a pool stick trying to hit a dildo off of a stool. Like, you guys
That's
need
so
to be
great.
more courteous about our property. It was just so funny.
The big question is, though, who has that dildo now?
Production.
Who took it home with them?
Nobody has it because Chris and I had a job while we were there working at this podcast that's downtown. And they needed it for one of their like sketches that they did on stage, and so we brought it. I brought it in my purse to work, and pulled it out, and then I left it on accident. So it's currently in possession of Downtown Podcast in downtown Vegas.
That sounds professional.
Yes, it was a really great job.
Wait, did we ever see this job on air?
No, it's so sad. It was by far one of my favorite memories of being on the show because it was just Chris and I that worked there because we both had backgrounds in like I'm in journalism and he's a writer, and it was a real job. Like, we got to go to their meetings every week and help produce the show every Thursday. And my favorite part about it was that every single Thursday, the entire cast of The Real World would be at the show supporting Chris and I at work, no matter what was happening. Like, if we were all fighting that day, it doesn't matter. Everybody showed up. Everyone had a good time. And it was like the one thing that I knew every Thursday we were all going to do together and everything was going to be okay. And they didn't show it. And it's really sad because that was by far one of the coolest things, because not only that, but it was in the community. So we were able to bond with people of Vegas, and it was cool.
That is pretty awesome. You should start your own podcast.
I know. I've thought about it. I've definitely bounced around some ideas.
Maybe you and Jenna. No.
Chris and I had
to
one going, but now that we're
really
not doing so well, we haven't done anything. So yeah.
Well, not to spoil anything, but we kind of see how Sabrina is going to be meeting her mom, and it seems to be the big event that's actually left in the season. Is there anything you can tell us about that without really spoiling it?
Not really. I didn't. She traveled from Vegas to Boston to figure all of that out. None of us went with her, and that was after a lot of craziness that had gone down in the house. So I really wasn't too involved with that whole situation, but I guess you and I will both find out when we see the episode, because I don't know either.
But she is one of the people you still talk to, right? Or is she gone too?
I know. Like I said, I don't even know anymore. She texted me the other day and was like, "I love you no matter what. Like, we're friends outside the show. I don't want any of this to come between us."
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, great. But then, like, 2 days later, her manager tweeted some hate at me. So I was like, okay, so now Sabrina's not, I haven't, to be honest, I'm so over all of it that I just haven't even tried because I don't care. Like, I have really good friends at home, like in my regular life, and I don't need the Real World cast to be my friends. I don't need them to accept me, and I don't need them to like me. So I've just kind of been like, I don't care. I don't care if they like me.
The one thing I want to say about Sabrina is that I'm a fellow New Englander, and I retweeted her video. So if she blows up, I want front row tickets to her show.
Oh, hell yeah. I know, right? Yeah, I think we're good, but then again, who knows?
Oh,
She got
find out.
offended. I'm 99% sure she got offended when I posted something about the show being the Kailah and Jenna show, which I understand why she would be upset that I said that, because it kind of is like taking away from her experience. I didn't mean it in a malicious way towards like trying to demean her and what she went through while she was on the show. So I understand why she would be upset that I said that. But at the same time, there is some truth to that.
One of the things I really want to say to everybody on the show is that, it sounds like I'm talking down to you guys. I swear I'm not, though, that in just a few years, it becomes so apparent that losing friendships over such petty nonsense is so just not worth it. In that you watch these shows, and it's not just your season, it's all the seasons. People get so mad over the stupidest things. And personally, I really think it's just not worth it. If it's just a drunken fight or it's not anything that's really, really deep, just get past it.
And I feel like that's how I've been trying to go about this whole thing, even from the beginning. Like when it wasn't a big deal to tweet, like before all the Twitter battling started, they would all say things here and there about me, and I would just let it slide. Like, I don't care. It's not that big of a deal. Like, let's move on. I'm so not about trying to figure out the drama, and defending myself on Twitter only makes me look more guilty. So like, I'm just like, I don't even care anymore. I'm just going to let it go into my life and be happy. And if they want to continue living with hate in their lives and negativity, then they can go ahead and do that. But for me, I'm not going to do that. I'm trying my best to stay positive and stay away from all of that. And hopefully someday they look back and they realize that this all didn't have to happen.
I hope so. Well, before we go, I want to just give you one more opportunity. Is there anything else you need to get off your chest?
Yep. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I mean, not really. I think I've said pretty much everything that I kind of wanted to say. It feels good to talk about it, though.
And if you ever have more to talk about, you know where to find us.
I know, because keeping it to like whatever 140 characters or whatever it is on Twitter is not easy. So it's been good to talk to you guys and really tell you how I feel about everything that's going on.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear it and to hear it from you, because it's what we've been seeing all season. But now just hearing you kind of reiterate that, it makes us like know that obviously there's a reason why we're kind of not so much siding with you, but we kind of see how you feel through what was going on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, there's people who obviously don't see where I'm coming from at all, and I can't win those people over, but I hope that the majority of people realize that I'm not being hateful the way that they are. I'm trying to keep it positive, and I'm not the one that's like spewing negativity constantly through Twitter at them. And it's just not how I want to live my life. So
definitely.
I know. It's whatever.
Well, to end on a happy note, I'll just say it's been an absolute pleasure having you on here. And, if the need arises, we'd love to have you on again sometime.
Oh, absolutely. I can't believe it's already going to be over this week. Like, I feel like I'm about to graduate from college, and I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. But
guess what? Grad school is the challenge.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, hopefully you'll see me there at some point. And, it's just weird that it's coming to an end.
Well, this podcast, just like the real world and all good things, must come to an end.
Very true.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's been
fantastic.
fantastic.
Thank you for having me. It was fun. Thanks, guys.